Cassiopeia Emberlake tasted her first morning on 10 February 1999 inside a one-room oyster shack resting on wooden stilts above the blush pink flats of Mobile Bay, Alabama. The tide was sliding out, leaving zigzag trails where blue crabs had scuttled under moonlight, and her mother, a traveling funk gospel accordionist who slips dried magnolia petals between spare reeds, coaxed a drowsy three-chord lull that made glass marbles hum in their jar. Her father, a boat rap poet and part-time tug mechanic who sketches cloud seahorses on ticket stubs, leaned so close their noses brushed and promised the wide-eyed newborn that dock chatter, high school side-eyes, and skimpy size charts will always step aside for any soul brave enough to stand at full height. Curves flourish in the Emberlake family tree the way bay grass bends in a sunrise breeze, so nobody panicked when baby Cassiopeia split her second cotton swaddle before the kettle whistled. Granny Odessa tugged a shrimp net needle through every gap, patched the blanket with strips cut from an old Mardi Gras sailcloth, and chuckled that a yard of fabric costs pennies while teaching a child to shrink can cost her whole horizon of dawn. Gray school corridors smelled of pencil dust, sweet cornbread steam drifting from the cafeteria, and brackish air sneaking under crooked sash frames. Cassiopeia towered a head above her classmates, blotting the projector every time she mapped pelican migrations on the pull-down chart. One damp recess, two boys hop-skipped around her, chanting slow, "Fairy." Each thud her rubber boots left on the chalk grid. At dusk she walked the rack line and found soda caps polished pearl by surf, threaded them on fishing leader, stitched a tinkling strand down her seafoam hoodie, and stepped into class at dawn, scattering rainbow freckles across ceiling tiles. A substitute reading coach captured 7 shaky seconds on a prepaid flip phone, posted the sparkle to an infant video corner, and by lunch, 15,000 strangers applauded the girl who hammered teasing into lighthouse glow. Cassiopeia wrote herself a promise in lilac ink next to subtraction drills. Clouds crowd only until you flash them bright enough to scatter. Teen summers belonged to the shrimp dock, where her mother's accordion riffs tangled with groaning winches, fire crackled from hush puppy tents, and gulls trading jokes over bait buckets. Retail jeans stuck halfway on Cassiopeia's thighs, so she bartered tip jar quarters for some bleached cast net, unraveled it into soft rope, crocheted high-rise culottes, stenciled spoonbill silhouettes with squid ink, and posed at persimmon sunset against rust-striped bollards. While her cousin snapped grainy photos, she poured every frame into an online diary called Moonlit Lantern. During the same week, a photo app rolled into patchy bay towers. Captions hopped from Gulf Coast slang to earnest truths like curves anchor gale gusts steadier than seawalls. Before 16 candles flickered, 53,000 unseen hearts tapped a heart icon under every marmalade image. Proof bright screens hush, cafeteria whispers quicker than any assistant coach whistle. A coastal engineering scholarship ferried her east to Georgia Tech. Daylight dissolved inside Waveland Labs. Nights belonged to a 24-hour po' boy truck glowing neon, papaya beneath live oaks. The heat lamp became her only softbox. Between bourbon shrimp orders, she filmed 90-second reels, folding parchment into bay rose barrettes while explaining dart rotation and half surf, hush, half lecture zap. One uplay laughing gold calls on a lo-fi beat while she chain-stitched reflective crab trap line into thrift denim. 48 hours later, the counter sailed beyond 1.3 million. Southeastern-style blogs crowned her the po' boy coterier, though. Every sponsor email froze at size 16. Cassiopeia tucked each pitch into a folder labeled Shrinking Nets, wiped hot sauce from her cuff, and wrapped another sandwich. Late Spring delivered an email from Columbia Sportswear inviting her to co-design a Storm Show capsule titled Delta Pulse. She answered with 3 Peerform terms. Patterns must run to 60-inch hips, half the creative crew hired from community college fashion programs, and 10% of net profit pledged to oyster reef restoration from Dolphin Island to Cedar Key. Columbia signed before dawn pink lab skylights. The shoot dawned on a sandbar where turtle hatchlings printed commas across wet sand. Cassiopeia guided curvy paddle surfers gliding mirror ripples while a drone traced lazy loops overhead. When the lookbook dropped, every extended size jacket vanished in 41 hours across 29 nations. Moonlit Lantern vaulted past 700,000 lights. So dusted with powdered sugar from a graveyard beignet sprint, she balanced her phone on a flower crate, ducked behind rice sacks, and live-streamed tear-bright thanks beneath buzzing fluorescence. If this tale already sparked somewhere under your ribs, pause for a single second and subscribe right now. One fingertip locks your rail so the next adventure rides into your feed long before algorithm tides can turn. Spotlight shimmer lured rumor gulls. A gossip vlog claimed Cassiopeia laced steel plates around her waist beneath Delta Pulse shells. At dawn, she paddled a cedar board past Spartina grass, stood strong in sports bra and linen shorts, traced every stretch line with crushed bougainvillea dust, and riffed an accordion groove so raw, pelicans lifted in silence. 10 million viewers reposted the jam tagged bougainvillea proof, brushing magenta flecks across their own curves until gossip slid under the tide. Truck wages, braided with capsule royalties, and whipped into Emberlake butter, a custard swirl in Tupelo honey cream, Satsuma oil, and micro sparks, that glow pearl and foam flash. 19,010s cooled on her father's chart table, lids tied with braided trot line, each tag printed "Moisturize Your Horizon." Inventory drained in 82 minutes, lifting $196,000. 20% seeded Beacon grants delivering industrial surgers and field audio kits to plus-size teens in Bay Country schools from Pensacola Beach to Port Isabel. 8 months later, 36 grantees hosted a floating fashion and dolphin song gala aboard a retro shrimp scow wrapped in LED Spartina, streaming dawn-side to classrooms from Nairobi to Nuuk. New Orleans Fashion Week itched new levee lower when a backstage blower shredded her emerald mesh gown from hip to shin 90 heartbeats before curtain. Cassiopeia grabbed neon dock rope off a rail, laced the gash like boot hooks, and strode the runway as if the splice lived in every sketch. Camera shutters cracked like kettle corn. Vogue Delta crowned the rescue rope cadence, and another million lantern beacons glowed before the brass band even struck the after-party's first chord. Tempest talk resurfaced when a jilted aide leaked trimmed emails suggesting she demanded crawfish towers and chauffeured airboats for her rescue heron Starlight. She posted the full chain revealing refillable water urns, lentil stew for crew, and caption tablets for deaf stylists, then routed that month's affiliate wave, $135,000, into biodegradable crab trap pilots along Appalachia Bay. Fans echoed her peer mantra, receipts shine brighter than rumor grit until whispers vanish like sea fog. Midsummer metrics shimmered teal green. 6.9 million Instagram companions, 3.5 million real Voyagers, and just over 2 million channel subscribers. Engagement brushing 10% and forcing brand death back to blank slides. Cartier invited her to headline a Topaz Surge vignette shop within the Century Lens at Cape San Blas Light. She agreed once Cartier funded therapy stipends for oyster deck crews battered by last season's storms. The finished clip, her wrists scattering amber shards across iron ribs, became Cartier's most saved post of the quarter. Family keeps her kill true. Twice each month, she streams Porch Bay Groove. Mom thumps accordion bass beside a propane skillet. Dad recites cloud haiku, and Cassiopeia flips thrift denim under fairy bulbs. One show topped 9 million when Starlight waddled through powdered sugar, then sneezed glitter across the lens. A seabird refuge now sponsors every episode, tagging rehabilitated herons with solar beacons, financed by Emberlake butter. Butter revenue sailed beyond 12 million before its second equinox. She leased an Eichel oyster sort shack, carved skylights through corrugated tin, and hired furloughed deckhands plus design grads to whip custard and knot leaves by hand during midday dance breaks to golf funk loops. Efficiency experts push shrink seals. She repeated her mother's creed, fingertips keep legends long after robots forget, and rope ties stayed. Her Charlotte breath mind-weathered truth. Cypress Bluff portraits sit beside po' boy truck selfies captioned "Same sky, different tide." She posts breath loops recorded in limestone caves, printable resilience pages in English and Choctaw, and sliding scale therapy links. 131,000 users call her shoreline candor their first calm harbor. Community writes shimmer under crushed shell paint. hundreds petal dusk causeways, wearing Emberlake butter on collarbones and LED Spartina tassels on spokes. Ticket proceeds swell beacon grants and lift wheelchair snorkel rigs at tide pool coves. Chowder huts fry late. Crab stew bowls jump 15% on ride nights. Cassiopeia rolls lead on a vintage cruiser with starlight plush strap front, pausing to not any rider sagging lace. She is writing a memoir titled Currents Keep Names, slated for release in 11 languages next spring, while a documentary crew follows her scheme to retrofit retired Thai boys into floating maker labs for salt marsh schools. Puma's wide-to-way wave lantern sneaker splashes next quarter, threaded with reflective rope and cushioned by algae foam, channeling 10% of revenue into beacon seedlings around the Gulf Rim. If your subscribe icon is still bright red, let it soften gray with one gentle press. That second call to action secures the next voyage and your notifications before algorithm undertow rearranges the currents. The playback settles like moonlight on still water. In the description below, wait, freshly poured Emberlake butter, an express channel to Beacon Grant forms, tonight's Porch Babe playlist, and a discreet compass. A research-crafted kit of conversation sparks and calm confidence drills that traces the clearest path toward true love and the most dependable route to help any woman you meet feel authentic intrigue, free, open, one touch away. If the soda cap spine glow rope cadence gown save or a starlight glitter sneeze lifted even half a grin, tap like, drop your brightest ripple in the comments, and share this voyage with a friend whose sails hang slack. Every curve redirects currents, every scar refracts moonlight, and the marsh bows to anyone who plants two brave boots on the pier and greets tomorrow eyes wide. A final breeze sweeps across the mic. Subscribe this heartbeat, claim your rail, touch the love link waiting in the description, and meet me on the next rising tide when a fresh story glimmers beyond the breakers and courage calls your name again.